paper, I want you to write these two numbers. Okay? 12 with a line underneath and 18 with a line underneath.
On the top or which side?
Just where there's like open space. So it can be lower below your picture. And then Andy, do you remember your measurements at all? Like what it was? Okay. There's paper in here for adults too. Okay. All right. How about, let's see. Brandon, what is the measurements of your picture?
4.5 next way.
Okay.
And 3 up and down.
Okay, 4.5 and 3. And actually we used yours as an example last time, so we're going to use somebody else's. How about Emerson, what's your measurements?
3.5 and 3.
3.5 and 3? Okay. Out of 3.5 by 3, so he has 3.5 by 3. You're going to take your smaller number, and you're going to put it under the 12. So take your smaller number and put it under the 12. So out of your two measurements, take the smaller one and put it under the 12, and then you're going to put your larger one under the 18. Okay?
Well, if you have a half number,
Yep, whichever one's smaller. So you're 3.5, and then 5.5. Okay, next. Next. Okay, so everyone is going to go. Okay, so 3, this is just, it depends on what your number is. So this one works for Emerson. So Emerson's 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. And then 3 times 5 is 15. Now I'm going to stop there and X this out because once you hit this 12, you go beyond that, we can't go any further. So we're seeing how many times can we multiply this 3 that it'll fit into that 12. Okay? So whatever your number is, you're going to times it by 2, times it by 3, times it by 4, until you get to 12. And once you go beyond 12, you're going to cross it off. Drew?
what if like you have like a half number and
You'll still times it by 2. So if you have like 4.5 times by 2, it's going to be 9. 4.5 times by 3, and you'll continue. And all of you are going to have a different number than this. How many of you also have a 3 right now as your smaller number? Okay, so that's easy for you. Okay? Once you're done, I want you to raise your hand, and we'll move on to this next side.
I have both sides done.
Both sides? Okay.
It's pretty easy actually.
Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing over here. Same thing, 3.5 times 2 equals 7. 3.5 times 3. But this time, now Connor, when you did it, did you see how many times it would go into 18, or did you see how many times it would go into 12?
18.
18, okay, that is correct. So, 10.5.
How did you get
Hold on just a second. No, because 3 plus 3 is 6, and then half plus half equals 1. Because 3.5 and 3.5 equals 7. And then once you get to this point, you can just add another 3.5. So 3.5 would be 10.5. Plus 3.5 would be 14. Plus 3.5 is 17.5. Plus another half, 18. Okay, so this is too far. So you're going to do the same over here. See how many times it'll go into the 18. That depends on what your number is. It may not go this far, it might go even farther. Emerson, you need to get your foot off the table, especially since we're working on your problem right now. That doesn't mean you get to do nothing.
What happens if you're over it by a half?
Then you cross it off. If it goes over at all, if it's 18.5, you cross it off. It's gone past the 18. Okay? All right, how many of you have both of these done? Okay, some of you are still multiplying. Brandon, have you got this part done?
Yeah.
Okay, do you have this part done? Okay, you want to start on this part?
Yeah, I know what it is.
Okay. Question?
I have two 15/16s.
You were supposed to have a whole number or a whole and a half. Okay? We weren't working with 1/4 or 3/4 because it gets way too, that's because it gets too confusing to do the math. Yes.
My number is 5 1/2, and if I go by 3, it's too low, and if I go by 4, it's too high.
That's fine. Just cross off the 4, and then we'll talk about what will happen next. So we're just seeing how high we can go. Your numbers are probably not going to fit perfectly into both of these.
Mine did.
Some of yours will.
Mine did. I had 4 and 4.5.
4 and 4.5. Okay, quiet down. So we're going to show the next thing. So next we're looking at which one. Now this is important because some of you want to pick different numbers. It has to match. Okay, to be able to enlarge it and have it all make sense, it needs to be, so this one, the highest we can go is 4. So 3 times 4. Over here, we can go all the way to 5. But we want the numbers to match, and we know 5 is too big over here. So the highest we could go, what number would that be that matches in both columns?
4.
Okay, so I want you to find which number matches in both of these. And I want you to circle it. Girls, are you done? Okay. How many of you have a matching number of 2? And that's your highest you can go? Okay. How about 3? 4? 5? 6? 7? Okay. We'll stop with, all right, then all of you had measured every 1/4 of an inch when you did your small grid. So you're going to need to take this number and whatever this magic number is, that's the matching one for you, is also going to be times over here, depending on what your matching number is. So if it's 1/4 times by 4, that's 1 inch. So these should all match. Okay, so if you're someone that had a matching number of 2, your number over here would be what? 1/4 plus 1/4 equals?
2/4 or 1.
Yep, a half an inch. Give me 5, please. If you had your matching number as a 2 and it's 1/4 of an inch, times by 2 would equal what? Half an inch. Okay? If it's 1/4 times by 3, it would equal what? 3/4 of an inch. Okay? If it's times by 4, it's an inch. If your matching number is 5, 1/4 times 5 is going to be 1 1/4. And if it's times by 6, it's going to be 1 1/2 inches. This is going to show where you're going to make a mark when you make it bigger. Okay? So when you enlarge this, Emerson's will be 12 inches by 14 inches, and he's going to make a mark every inch. Okay, so you're going to make the same grid, and it's going to be completely proportionate to your small grid, and it's going to be on this really big paper. If I can squeeze by you. This paper, you guys, this side here is the 12 inches. This side here is 18 inches. So that's why we were trying to see how many times we could fit, or how much we could enlarge your little grid to fit into this big grid. Okay? So you're going to be enlarging your picture. So you're going to be redrawing the grid. Okay, Nathan?
Is the 12-inch exactly 12 inches?
It is. So if you have 12 inches as one of your numbers, I would use the side here as your 12 inches, and then measure over 14, measure the top 14, and then connect them. Because you want to have a measurement on the top and the bottom whenever you're going to connect a line, because that's what keeps our line straight. And you guys learned that yesterday, right? Okay. So I want you to first make your box, the enlarged box, and then you're going to start making your marks. And you're going to do the same as your little grid, except for now you're using the bigger amount. So he'd every inch make a mark, make a mark, make a mark, make a mark. So go all the way until it stops at that 14 inches. And then you're going to do the same at the top. But all of yours are going to be different depending on what your measurements are. We don't all have the same measurements. Yes?
So if you for the 18, if you have 16.5, you go 16 inches and then a half?
Yep, 16.5 would be 16 and a half. So you're all going to need rulers. I've got some yardsticks in the back. And
This already has
pass out
12
the
inches
paper.
on it.
Thank you.